I got to look at the issue of, and this is very current, what is it like to shoot and kill someone who does not have a weapon? In the book, The Right Wrong Thing, this young officer shoots and kills a young pregnant teenager because she mistakes her cell phone for a gun in the dark. I get to look at some of these big issues and then try to tell a good story at the same time I'm exploring things, and hopefully the reader will get a different or a new understanding of what happens with a police officer. The first in the series is Burying Ben. So I looked at the issue of two things. Police suicide, because some of your listeners may not know that cops are twice as likely to kill themselves as they are to be killed in the line of duty, which will tell you something about the stress of the job, particularly with a population that has been psychologically screened before they even got the job. We'd expect that would be a hardier population. So I wanted to sort of explore that. And in that particular book, a young officer takes his own life and leaves a note blaming Dot, his therapist. So she has to unravel what it was that happened that led him to such a desperate act. And the third book in the series was inspired by somebody that I met at the Significant Others and Spouses retreat, whose husband was what's known as an IPAC investigator. That means Internet Crimes Against Children. And what he was exposed to in his work was affecting his relationship to his own family and to his own children. I'm really looking mostly at how Dot could save this officer at the same time that he had to investigate the case of a missing child. I always want to add that while there are some issues concerning this internet child pornography, there is no actual graphic pornography in this book or any description of it. Some readers, I think, can be a little frightened of that subject. I believe I have, and other reviews I've had, that I handled it in such a way that it was pretty sensitively.
Will there be any more in this series?
There is a fourth. I'm changing publishers. I'm not sure when that book will come out. It's called The Answer to His Prayers. In it, Dot takes on a sidekick, a young officer, a female who is really having a tough time on the job and trying so hard to prove herself to everyone that she gets herself in some trouble. I guess as you keep writing these books, I feel like you get better and better at it. So I really like this book. I will let you know when it's available. It won't be anytime soon.
Well, please do, because we'll definitely give it a shout out on the show or put it in our newsletter.
Great, thank you.
Well, how about any nonfiction book? You have a number of nonfiction books that you authored. Do you have any of those that you're working on?
Yes, the I Love a Cop, What Police Families Need to Know was my first ever book and came out in 2018. That book has sold, 150,000 copies. There's that relatively new edition, and I just finished reworking a second edition of the I Love a Firefighter, What the Family Needs to Know. I just sent the manuscript off about a week and a half ago. And then my third nonfiction book, which is also, I think, was 2018, Counseling Cops, What Clinicians Need to Know. And that I wrote with two of my colleagues who are both psychologists and retired police officers. So that's all still available. And I've got a couple of short stories. I have a short story in a brand new anthology that just came out in June called Shattering Glass. And it's a wonderful collection of fiction and nonfiction by the Nasty Woman Press. And all the profits from that book will go to Planned Parenthood. So if any of your readers are looking for a great collection of short pieces, it's called Shattering Glass, and it's a great book for a pretty great cause.
Absolutely.
My story in that is called Welcome to the Sisterhood, and that was also based on a client that came through one of our retreats.
Well, you've got a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely make sure we mention that in our newsletter.
Oh, great. That would be terrific.
How about your website where people can keep up with everything you're up to?
Please do go to my website. It's www.EllenKirschman, EllenKirschman.com, and sign up for my newsletter. I put a newsletter out about every other month. I've been told my newsletter is very informative. I've got recommendations for books. I have current issues that are going on in the world around police, but it's not all related to police. And then my husband, the real Steve, a.k.a. Frank, in my Meyerhoff Mysteries, is a fabulous cook. So he gives a recipe for something he's working on. It's called From the Contractor's Kitchen because he's a contractor. So you can get a recipe for that. And I will be giving away a copy of Shattering Glass to people who have signed up for the newsletter. I'll enter them into a giveaway.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, Ellen, I think we've about talked your ear off here, and we really appreciate everything that you brought to the interview. It's really fascinating and really, I hope, shines a light on everything that's going on in the world.
So I really appreciate the opportunity.
All right, Ellen, you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too as well. Bye-bye.
We sincerely thank Ellen for taking time to visit with us today. Her episode is a little bit longer than we like to have our podcast, but we thought the information that she had to share was well worth taking the time. So there will be no new and noteworthy this week, but it is time for trivia. Last week's question was, John Grisham gave up his law practice after the success of his second book, The Firm. He did come back for a short period. For what purpose? A, to fight plagiarism. B, copyright infringement. C, to represent the family of a railroad worker who was killed on the job. Or D, a friend who was accused of murder. The answer is C. His official website states he was honoring a commitment made before he retired from the law to become a full-time writer. Grisham successfully argued his client's case for a railroad worker who was killed on the job. He came back to represent the family. He earned them a jury award of $683,500, the biggest verdict of his career. Well, this week's question is, the mystery writer Ngaio Marsh was famous for her Inspector Allen mystery series. The name Ngaio is the Maori word for what? A, a bug, B, love, C, Mary, or D, a friend. Good luck. Well, that brings us to the close of another episode. Be sure and visit our website. It is www.darkstormybc.com.
You can listen to all of our episodes. You can
Sign up for our newsletter.
You can click that Patreon button.
We hope the lockdown is now lessening a little bit, but still, people, please stay safe and stay healthy. And remember,
Life would be boring without a little mystery. Bye.